How did you find us actually?
Yeah, so I had moved here from LA at the time, and I wanted to get so I had come so in LA I was at another gym called the Camp.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
So
The
yeah,
camp.
y'all have seen that like workout. So it was a
Yeah.
great program at the time, and it was just like what was it? It's like you paid some money, and if I kept losing weight, like I kept getting free membership,
You guys
right?
got you. Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, and then if I hit my goal weight, they give me my money back. So I'm like, oh,
That's pretty
free
clever.
gym, right? Bro, you're never gonna hit those goals.
So wait.
Well, what did they have you? Okay, well, what did they put you at?
That's
Like,
kinda wild.
So they gave me like a BMI, right?
Uh-huh.
And I was basically like, okay, you gotta lose like 30 pounds here, 20 pounds here, 20. And they gave me like the steps of like how to do it. They gave me like a diet thing. Like I still even have the book, right?
uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
And it's just like all and like again, if you do it, that's great. Like if what works for you may not work for someone else.
Right.
Um, it was like working out almost 5-6 days a week, right?
Okay.
You had to like sign into the classes, and then you had to stay on the diet if you wanted to actually get the losses from it, right?
Mm.
Mhm.
And like the big part about like the diet is it was very keto, right?
Mhm.
So it was reading like that, but there were days where it was just like, oh, I'm having trouble like getting some weight off because that's how weight loss
Yeah.
works, right? You
I'm
can't just
telling.
lose all your weight at once. And there's like a crash diet page
Oh
where
shit.
it's like all you eat is asparagus and whitefish.
Whoa, yo. I
And
mean,
you'll
okay.
lose the weight
Dude.
Like, so all you're eating 5 times, 3 times a day, asparagus and
until
whitefish.
until like you hit like if you want to hit your goal, right?
Jesus.
So you go and do
Damn, your
so,
piss
like,
must have smelled, bro. All
so
this
bad.
asparagus. That's insane.
So bad. Horrible. so that's like extremes. You're at the last 5 days and you need to lose like 3-4 more pounds, and you do that, right?
I see.
So the first month worked great for me. I was like down like 25 pounds, and I was like, yeah, I'm like so strong, and I like work out every day.
Uh-huh.
And they're like, great, you have another month of that. I was like, oh.
Shit.
You're like, fuck.
And then that's when I started like feeling like the real like I can't keep this up forever,
Right.
And then I didn't hit my goal that month, and they're like, oh,
You owe us money.
time to re-up. So I found another job and I left LA.
Dude, so if you hit your goal, they give you your money back?
Like eventually, right?
Oh, I
you have
see.
to like hit your like BMI.
Oh, I see.
Oh,
That's
okay.
wild.
Yeah.
Imagine like you guys working out and they're like, all right, guys, great job. We'll see you next week. There's a plate of donuts for you guys on your way out if y'all want. Like,
Right.
dude, I'm telling you, bro. I've been telling this man, you sell the bullets and the bandages, bro.
That was, dude. That was
Keep
back when we sold
rolling, though.
mochi donuts during the pandemic.
Yeah,
And
but
then I was also doing fitness classes.
It was dope.
Huh?
I mean, it was great. Those are great donuts.
Oh,
They're
I
really
know.
good.
But
Yeah.
you did not help me at all.
Dude, I didn't help anyone. I was just trying to make money during the
all I'm
pandemic,
saying,
bro.
if this video gets 1,000 likes, we bring back Mochimon.
Whoa!
We'll bring it back.
So, if you guys don't know, Mochimon is from my wife. She's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
one who created Mochimon. It's mochi donuts, baked, not fried, and they were
Delicious.
pretty dense,
Yeah.
like not oily. It was
good.
It was like, and she could only make it. I tried to help her out because we were getting a lot of orders, especially when we're branding it and promoting it on
Mhm.
Instagram, and we're doing a lot of word of mouth. It was a lot of word of mouth, and and when I tried to make it, it sucked.
I'm just
So,
saying, you know?
But they
Were fire.
They were
Yeah.
great.
Hella
Appreciate
good.
that. Anyways,
Bring
we're
it
on
back,
Mo.
bring it back.
We're on So,
So anyway,
you-
did that whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Like in LA, and then eventually found a new job. Came out here, and I for first couple months wasn't going to a gym, and then I was like, all right, let me look for another gym, and there's like all the camp was back, right? I
Uh-huh.
was like, I could just rejoin the camp, easy peasy, right? Luckily, it was too far for me to drive.
Hey.
So sorry, the camp, love you all, but like I don't think I didn't have the discipline for it. Still don't. So like I just wanted to go to a gym that was like a little bit more like casual. So like I went, looked at some gyms and some normal chains,
Right.
some the Planet
Sure.
Fitness,
Mhm.
like looked at all those, and I was like, I didn't really want that because I still can't make a workout for myself.
Right.
And then I went to Austin gym because it was like very nerdy themed, and I'm like,
Yes.
perfect. Like I'll
Gotcha.
go in, and at the time it was in that like space that was kind of like a warehouse looking kind of
Bro,
place.
yeah.
Yeah.
First location, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, had like the Zelda shield up. You
Yeah.
had like Link's shield up there.
Dude, I
You had like a
remember that,
bunch of
yeah.
really cool like artwork everywhere, and I was like,
Mhm.
yeah, this is it. This is
Mm.
it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so and then I was like, yeah, let's try it out, and it was a good price at the time, and I was just like,
Hey man, Bay Area, dog.
Bay
It's
Area
good.
prices,
hey,
brother.
oh yeah.
Bay Area.
No, it was good. It was close enough to home. I could hit it before I, in the mornings, and yeah, it was
Yeah.
great.
And
Yeah.
where'd you start and where you are now?
So had a couple ups and
Mm-hmm.
downs, right? I think I joined you around 350, 350, 347,
350.
350, something like that is when I first started. Fell off the train, hit like 393-ish, 395. And then now, and this is like a saga of what, like 5, 6 years almost.
Yep.
Yeah, so now I'm at 235. Yeah.
Gee.
So 235, maybe 237,
Mhm.
hopefully not 240, but
Yeah.
we'll see. But yeah,
Nice.
so
That's
like,
amazing. That's amazing.
hopping around that range
Mhm.
in the last couple of weeks.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dude,
been-
it's progress.
That's progress, man.
Fucking
yeah.
it's fucking great.
That's
dude.
awesome.
Crazy.
Yeah. A lot of it has been over the last because I was actually looking at some pictures, and I think it was like 2, 3 years ago was when I was at like my heaviest. So, and then I started taking it really seriously like 2 years ago.
Nice.
Yeah. So 3 years ago, I was like, I'll eventually get to it. And then actually had a really bad breakup,
Oh.
which is what prompted me to like,
Oh,
Yeah.
that was right, huh?
yeah. I mean, yeah. So I had a really bad breakup, and like that was kind of the not like prompted it, but it was like the final straw where
Right.
I was just like,
You went through your villain arc.
yeah, because I was like, there's so many things that contribute to weight loss, right? So, it's part your like emotional and mental state, and like actually losing the weight, like, and getting motivated to do it. It's really
Right.
tough, right?
Yeah.
So there were a lot of reasons why I wanted to, and for some reason, nothing was like enough for me, right? It wasn't like I didn't really, I was so depressed. I was like, who cares about being healthy, right? And I like did I was happy just like sitting around playing video games. Like I almost had like no furniture in my place too, right? So like I literally was down to just do nothing but like eat, play video games, go to the gym and say I worked out,
Yeah.
and like call it a day, right? So like I'm already like at that point I was really depressed. So I was like, okay, well like, what's gonna like make me want to lose weight? And then it just happened to be like, oh, I'm just like my self-image is horrible, right?
Mm,
And then that breakup was like, I'm tired of like having a bad
Right.
self-image of my right?
mm.
Yeah.
Because this person didn't really treat me well, and I was just like, oh, it's because like I just don't look good or whatever.
Mm.
And even though that's not the reason you should lose weight at the time, that was like enough to like
Right.
help
Yeah.
me like get started and like
Nice.
really figure like I don't want to ever have to go through this again,
Mhm.
So it was cool. So thank
Nice.
you.
God,
I mean, that's
it's
some good self-awareness though. you know,
Yeah.
Like I think that's what sometimes we lack is being able to look ourselves in the mirror and say like, I know what the problem is
Mhm.
and I just gotta do it. So
Yeah.
that's commendable.
That was a
very
good
much.
tipping point. I mean, it's a very common tipping point
Yeah.
for a lot of people
Yeah.
going through a very similar journey. Another question I have is, how has the experience been now versus before you lost the weight? Do
Um
you
yeah.
do you see people treating you differently? Do you think about yourself differently? All that stuff.
Yeah, it's like there's like a couple of things to unpack there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So one of the like big things that like there's a bunch of science about, and it's like first impressions and like what people think of you when they first see you. And a lot of that is like, okay, you're a bigger person, like what do I see about you, right? So yeah, first impressions for me have 100% changed. And like the way like I interact with people and the way that people actually interact with me is different,
Mm,
more so than how I interact with them. I get a different like vibe, a different energy, right? People like one of the big things, and I noticed this a lot in LA, is like I would go out alone because I didn't have too many friends and stuff. And like I would always think that someone was like staring at me, right? Because I
Mm.
was just like so big.
Mhm.
Turns out like when you're actually that big, like nobody wants to like look at you, you know?
Mm.
Like because they don't want to be rude.
Right.
Right.
Mm.
So it was like actually like having like conversations with people, like sometimes it was just like, yeah, I can make like direct eye contact with you and whatever, but like sometimes people just don't want to be in that conversation.
Mhm.
Wow.
Um, so like there are just these little like tiny things that you can like kind of notice, and it like it's a little isolating. So nowadays it feels a lot different, like being, and the other half of that I think I touched on was like my own self-image, right? So if you noticed, a lot of the things that I was saying is like I, right? Because you live in your head.
Mhm.
And when, at least when I was bigger, I like always felt that, I had this paranoia of like being bigger and like what people thought about me, right? Beyond like what the science says and whatever like your doctors can tell you, right?
Mhm.
So my self-image was really bad, and was, I think, night and day. One of the biggest things that I like looked at was like how I would dress,
Mhm.
and like it was all sweatpants and
Yep.
these really big jeans, right? Like
Mhm.
they wouldn't really fit right, and like I would order clothing that was just like way bigger, just so that I could like fit in it and kind of like hide some stuff in, right? And it was, like, not form flattering, and it really wasn't doing me any favors. And, um, that's, like, the other thing, like, I just didn't care about myself enough, right? So, nowadays, like, I'm still not the best dressed, but I, like, take a lot more time in, like, getting prepared, and, like, I'm actually excited to, like, go clothing shopping, like, actually, this is, like, a new one for me. So, um before, I used to only order clothes online, or I would go to, like, a Casual Male XL, which is not a casual experience at all. Very, 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 uh, like, anxiety inducing,
Mhm.
because you're like, "Oh my god, what if I don't fit into something at the Casual Male XL
Oh,
store?"
shit.
But you always will, like, but you never know. So, like, uh, I think, like, a couple of weeks ago, I went into a Macy's for, like, was it a Macy's? I don't know. It was this department store for like the first time in years.
Mhm.
And I was looking for some clothing for an event I was going to, and I was afraid nothing was going to fit me. And like everything fit,
Oh,
like that
shit.
I went to try
Yeah,
on,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
except the things that like, were clearly not my size, right?
Mhm.
But I mean, that was fine. Like I used to only fit into like a 4XL or like
Mhm.
a 5XL, right? And I was like, oh, this XL is just a little bit too tight, right? Or like, I can go into the 2X, but I think some of them are way too big and loose. So it's like, it was pretty like crazy to me
Mhm.
because before it was like I could only shop at this one store.
Right.
Now I can actually shop around.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
I actually have a bunch of Lululemon hoodies that like they were still a little too tight a couple months ago. And I started wearing them like the last like 2, 3 weeks because I lost another like 25 pounds, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, she's, like, fit. Like, I can wear Lululemon, like, comfortably now." Like, before it was just a little too tight, and, like,
Nice.
so I think, like, all these little joys that I'm finding, like, from my body now have been, like, really helping with my self-image. And, when that happens, the way you, like, carry yourself in public changes too. So professionally, I feel like it's helped me a lot, and this isn't just like I've worked at the same place for 5 years, so, like, people have seen me and they're like, "Okay, like, whatever, like, Mo looks different because he lost some weight." Um, but, like, I'm more comfortable to have conversations with people that, like, don't know me, right?
Mhm.
Mhm.
And
Mm.
I'm okay to, like, speak up in rooms where before I, like, kinda just didn't wanna be noticed. And, like, I started actually doing, like, I got into my first conference recently, and, like, I'm more nervous about, like, my actual content than I am about, like, showing up on stage.